They told me my country was dying. They looked at our maps in Paris and Washington, and they called it hell on earth. They said the desert is eating us alive. They said the terrorists own the water. They said, Captain, you need us. You need our loans. You need our permission. But I looked them in the eye, and I said, no. I am Ibrahim Traoré, and I do not answer to the banks. I answer to the mother who is walking 10 miles just to find mud to drink. I answer to the soldier who is fighting on an empty stomach. I answer to God. I looked at this dry land, and I didn't see a graveyard. I saw a garden waiting to be born. They offered me weapons. They offered me aid packages that disappear into corrupt pockets. But I knew weapons don't stop hunger. Aid doesn't stop thirst. So I made a promise that sounded like madness to the world. 100,000 wells, not just holes in the ground, but the veins of a new Africa. I told my engineers, we will drill through the granite, we will summon the water from the depths of the earth, and we will do it with our own hands. They said it was impossible. They said we are too poor. But watch closely, because what you are about to see is not just engineering. It is an uprising. It is the water of life, and it is the weapon that will set my people free.
To understand what is happening in Burkina Faso, you don't need a history degree. You just need to look at our own American history. Think back to the Wild West. Think back to Nevada, Arizona, California in the 1800s. It was a harsh land. It was lawless. Why? Because water was scarce. Range wars were fought over creeks. Men died for a muddy watering hole. The Sahel today is the new frontier. For decades, the lack of water created a power vacuum. When a government cannot provide water, it loses its legitimacy. The terrorists stepped into that void. They became the warlords of the water. They taxed the wells. They poisoned the pumps to force mass migration. They want the land empty so they can run their smuggling routes without witnesses. Traoré realized that you cannot police a desert that is empty. To secure the land, you need people living on it. To have people, you need water. This 100,000 wells project is his version of the Homestead Act. He is staking a claim. He is telling his people, go back to the land. We will bring the water to you, and we will defend it. But let's get down to the brass tacks. Let's talk about the engineering. Because drilling a hole in the Sahel isn't like drilling in a backyard in Florida. The ground beneath Burkina Faso is protected by what geologists call the Precambrian shield. This is ancient granite, harder than steel, old as time itself. Western contractors quoted millions of dollars per well because they said it breaks their equipment. So how does Traoré do it? He didn't hire the fancy French firms. He unleashed the Army Corps of Engineers. These young Burkinabe engineers developed a technique to punch through that granite shield. They're using high-torque rigs, working 24-hour shifts, hitting depths of over 100 meters to tap into deep, ancient aquifers that haven't seen the sun in 1,000,000 years. And the power source? The sun. No diesel generators, no reliance on imported fuel that can be sanctioned or blockaded. It is a masterpiece of self-reliance. The sun powers the pump feeds the crops fund the maintenance. It is unbreakable. Now, here's the part the news won't tell you. When Traoré first proposed this plan, do you think the international banks rushed to help? No. The IMF and the World Bank have strict rules. They usually demand austerity. They demand privatization. Essentially, they said, we'll lend you the money, but you must let foreign companies own the water. Traoré said no. He knew that if you sell your water, you sell your freedom. So, like David facing Goliath, he picked up his own stone. He mobilized domestic resources. He cut the salaries of government ministers. He stopped the theft of gold revenues. He is funding this project with Burkina Faso money. This is why the global establishment is nervous. They're terrified that other African nations will see this and realize, wait a minute, we don't need their loans. We can build it ourselves. Traoré is proving that the chains of debt can be broken. But let's look at the human soul. I want to tell you about a sergeant named Jean. 5 years ago, Jean was trading bullets in the bush. He saw his friends die for a war that had no end. Today, Jean is still in uniform, but he holds a drill, not a rifle. He told a reporter, when that water shoots up into the air, the old women dance, the men cry. I used to feel like a killer. Now I feel like a life giver. When a soldier becomes a builder, the war is already won. There's a holiness to clean water. Jesus called himself the living water. Bringing water to the thirsty is the most righteous act a leader can perform. 100,000 wells, 10 years. It's a mountain to climb. It will be setbacks. But look at the spirit of Burkina Faso today. It's not a spirit of fear. It is a spirit of resurrection. Traoré is planting the seeds of a future where no child asks permission to drink, where no nation asks permission to be free. As Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Burkina Faso is claiming that future. If this story moved you, if you believe in faith and hard work, then stand with us. The media won't tell this story, but New Africa Farming will. Smash that subscribe button, share this with a friend who needs hope, and leave a comment below with just one word, Amen. Let the world see our prayer. May the wells flow, and may God bless the brave.